Right,
In the
let's have
red
a look.
trunks, we've got Gandalf. In the purple or bluish trunks, we have Matiz. The
Indeed.
spawns are very close.
The spawns are very close. They're equal in terms of mechs, or when I say equal, I mean relatively even. Both players can expand in different directions, which is nice as well.
I'm tempted to leave this one. Do you want to leave it?
Yep, I'm
let's
going
go.
to agree with you on that one. Let's get right in. So, looking at Gandalf first, he's gone, well, your typical build, he's going bot first, followed by further energy, whereas Matiz is going vehicle first. What do you think about that, Grep?
I prefer vehicle first. I prefer the utility that the skitter gives you. But I've been personally playing with Bombots as scouts, so
Bombots as scouts, blimey.
Bombots as scouts. I'm going to shoot down Gandalf here, but I actually beat him in a game last week in under 6 minutes, where a couple of Bombots got into his main, and I destroyed 4 power gens, a mechs, and 4 engineers with just a handful of Bombots, and he actually prompted him to leave the game. So.
Yeah, they are really powerful if they get past the defences, because of that. The huge amount of damage they do on hit is absolutely crazy. So we see a skitter coming up from Matiz now. He's going to be scouting around the place, followed up by a second one with only single fabricator out at the moment. Gandalf, however, going for double fab with no docks to protect or even stingers, but then again Matiz isn't going air, so that's not too much of an issue at this point. Stinger following up, however, so that's going to be a little bit redundant at this point.
It's definitely a safe move though, considering the metagame, which is, in some cases, is to go air first. I don't think we see air on this map, because the challenger is Gandalf, and I know that he's picked a small map and he's going to do a lot of land spam. I think Matiz is just... what's the word? Changing up his playstyle, adapting his playstyle just for this, so I don't think we'll see air for a little while. Obviously, until we get to Tech 2.
Except now Matiz has managed to scout where Gandalf is. He gets the glimpse on one of the mechs extractors there and does now see the rest of the base and the bot first. So he does know that Gandalf has gone bot. We'll wonder whether he's look at his base now and see whether he decides to build anything else, potentially following up with a second factory, because he has got an idle fabricator there. There he goes, starting to move now. And it's an air factory in second, so that'll be where the bomber harass comes in, I suspect.
Quick question, Marshall. I've not used the new spectator mode. How do I get both their visions back?
You click on the little players
it.
at the top. So we just saw a skitter get reclaimed. Well, I'm not sure what your camera's looking at, but I just saw a skitter get reclaimed by one of Gandalf's fabbers there. It was quite phenomenal. There's another one just being a little bit pesky around the side, stopping him from expanding at this point. He has got a dock sitting in his base, though, which he could use to help out against that skitter harass. But there's skitters everywhere. He has got a docks actually moving around the North Pole, just heading towards Matiz's expansion now, so that could really interrupt things and getting a really good early advantage.
There's not any units close by to counter this. The commander left will cool around those power gens, so he's going to lose a couple of engineers here.
Yeah, definitely. He's sending them out sort of unprotected, although he's bringing out hummingbirds first, probably followed up by some bumblebees.
Matiz has actually stopped the expansion from Gandalf on the west side of the map, and he almost lost the stinger too. He's actually moving the docks over there to deal with that.
Yeah, that's a good move.
That's good. That skitch on the North Pole as well, if it goes unchecked, is going to take an engineer possibly with some good micro.
Yeah. Oh no, it's gone. Yeah. So Gandalf learning from this, getting up a few laser defense towers on his expansions, just in case. He's also bringing out a vehicle factory now as well. What he has done is build up a radar in the center of his base, so he's going to be able to get that little bit of intel around to see if there are pesky little skitters just waiting in the wings, as it were. But Matiz beginning to get out even more T1 factories now, queued up a further 2 bots and another air factory.
I quite like the way Matiz is playing this right now. He has so much map vision with those skitters in the air. He knows exactly what his opponent's doing. But Gandalf, I'm not sure. He hasn't told me how he's going to play. I haven't watched him recently, but he definitely prefers these smaller maps. I'm quite interested to see how he's going to deal with that. Engineers going down in the middle there, where they're trying to get the old turrets up.
Yeah, there was that engineer just killed there very nicely, and he's going to build up some more just to secure that mechs there towards the centre. So Gandalf appears to be bringing out even more bot factories, so we'll probably see a lot of T1 bot harass perhaps, but he is getting out, he's got now 3 idle vehicle fabbers. There's the T2 vehicles, just as I was about to say, but Matiz has got his air sitting down just to the southwest of that, so if he moves those in, he could get a really good scout on that T2 vehicles and give him some really valuable intel as to what's going on, but he is himself getting up T2 bots in his base. So we might even see some sniper bot play here.
I love how Matiz is keeping this scare active at the back of Gandalf's base, just checking which direction his opponent's going to expand to. Gandalf isn't expanding. I'm kind of worried right now.
Yeah, he needs to be doing a bit more, although I guess maybe he's thinking rushing to T2 and he can sort of sit in his base with the upgraded eco, because of course that is kind of an option, but at this sort of level of play you really do want to be gaining your map control. But of course hunkering down is an option, it's just a more difficult option long term.
I'm wondering if Gandalf has a specific build he intended to open with in this match. He was telling me the other day about something about he's getting Tech 2 before a certain amount of time and managing to maintain his efficiency, but his efficiency is in the toilet right now.
Yeah, it's really not very good. I'm afraid I've not got my timer mod on, so I've got rid of all of my mods to try and increase the performance. There we go, so for the recording purposes. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. So, interesting. We don't really see too much in terms of focusing down on that T2 bot factory. There's 2 fabbers currently working on it for Matiz, but it looks as though he's really going really hard on energy, which is going to get him a later game viability, I suspect. But Gandalf is going to get that T2 first, so that could really push the game in his favour if he can really make use of that early on.
It's going up quite fast, but his efficiency is at 60% right now, and Matiz is at 100, and they've got equal amount of engineers on these Tech 2 factories. I wouldn't actually be surprised if Matiz's one goes up first. But do you fancy Tech 2 bots or Tech 2 vehicles in this game?
I must say, from my 2v2 experiences with Superhuman in our tournaments, I must say bots, but then again, I'm not a 1v1 player, so I haven't really adapted to that. I suspect vehicles is probably better because you can just overwhelm over time. Now, what I want to draw your attention to are these docks build-ups just on the outside of Gandalf's base. I suspect he's going to use those to perhaps raid a little bit of Matiz's expansions there, because he hasn't really defended some of them. Some of them are completely undefended, so if he could use those, he could really whack down Matiz's metal income to great effect.
Matiz is actually preventing the expansion of Gandalf by building... They're only single laser turrets, but he's building factories and laser turrets outside of Gandalf's expansions to the west. Oh, a little bit of bot raiding down here right now. Not going to do too much damage, but there's nothing there to deal with it. I mean, Matiz does have air control. He could chuck out a couple of bombers real quick.
He could do, yeah. But we also see a couple of vanguards now on the field, so I wonder whether those are going to be stockpiled or whether they're going to start streaming in, because, of course, if you do have your T2 at this point, would you rather send your vanguards in and reveal your advantage, or would you rather sort of wait and absolutely smash? Because the problem is, at this point, Matiz is getting up his T2 air and eco at the same time, so he's going to get some really powerful economies shortly, which is really going to
Gandalf's bots are on the move, and they're actually heading to a large amount of unprotected mexes. It's funny how Matiz has decided to defend, or attack Gandalf's expansions, but not defend his own. Especially with the intel that Gandalf's had. He's responding to it pretty quickly, though. The sniper bots are on the way.
Yeah,
this is going to get shut down.
I'm not sure it will get shut down before at least those 6 mechs are gone, because those docks have, well, obviously equal movement speed. So as long as Gandalf keeps moving with those, he can absolutely wreck that expansion there. Now the T2 air is beginning the yellow wipe shortly, I suspect. And, we also see a catapult coming up from Matiz in the middle ground there. If that gets allowed to be put up, that's really going to pressurize Gandalf into attacking against it, because of course the catapults are incredibly powerful. They also have...
Gandalf does know those units are there with his radar. He's just not checking out what they are. I don't expect you to see a catapult in the midfield at this point.
Yeah. I guess it's really quite
undefended,
unexpected.
though.
It is, definitely, yeah. But, wow, I was going to say Matiz's economy was able to handle it, but he's fluctuating a bit in efficiency there. Probably because of focusing down on energy at this point and that air. So the air is almost complete now. What do you reckon we'll see first? I reckon possibly Peregrines and followed by Kestrels.
You definitely need to grab air control first, but I need to draw your attention to the Vanguards have actually moved out against the sniper bots at the north, but the sniper bots and the micro from Matiz is just handling those easily.
Yeah, plus I believe Matiz probably has radar range of them, regardless as to whether he has vision. In fact, no, he does not. Matiz does not have radar. Not that I can see. So, provided Gandalf can take out the vision for those sniper bots, they're not going to be very much use.
Matiz is aware of the Vanguard push that's coming now. He has plenty of sniper bots, I think, to handle this.
He's also bringing out Kestrels primarily now, and so Gandalf really needs to start hamming in some stingers into his offensives, because otherwise those Kestrels are absolutely going to rip through those offensives like a warm knife through butter. Because, of course, Vanguards and Docks cannot do anything against air. And currently Gandalf does not even have a single air factory. He's beginning to roll a few stingers out. Matiz there getting off a nice scout in the middle of his base. We see some levelers coming out from Gandalf as well. But the T2 air now beginning to accumulate with some sniper bots to the south of Gandalf's base. This could make a hole, which could potentially throw Gandalf off his game.
He's responding with turrets and walls, and that catapult is actually finished by now. Gonna go straight for the turrets.
Yeah, that's also going to open up another undefended flank there.
Seems like Matiz's attention is elsewhere. The sniper bots are no longer being microed. Unless they're on an A move, of course. But one Vanguard, I think, will make it to the base. He's going to lose a couple of mechs and a couple of power gens. That's not a massive deal. But he definitely needs to plug that hole to stop it happening again, because Gandalf is still producing Vanguards and bots off the back of this. He's actually incorporating stingers into his composition now.
Yeah, it's always a good move. I always have a bot factory constantly producing stingers from the word go, or as soon as after the word go as I possibly can, just in case, because T2 Air is such a prominent build in this patch of PA.
The entire map belongs to Gandalf. I don't think
Matiz,
it's going to take
surely.
a miracle for Gandalf to get any amounts of map control back. I mean, he's lost this midfield to the Tech 2 factories and the catapult now. He isn't going to push back through that.
What Gandalf really needs to do at this point is possibly try and get up some air, because if he can get off some sneaky raids of those surrounding expansions before the Peregrines can answer, he could possibly start to whittle Matiz back. But if you look at the economy ratings, Matiz is on almost 300 extra metal from Gandalf, and almost 20k extra energy, though he is running a deficit. So his economy is an absolute powerhouse at this point compared to Gandalf, and he's just going to mop up around the edges now with this T2.
He has no answer for this Tech 2. I mean, he's got a couple of stingers there, here and there, but they're actually conglomerating with his army.
Yeah, I mean, he's changed his bot factories to stingers now. They were producing docks, but they're not going to get out fast enough. And the scout there, seeing all of those fabricators, not quite seeing the commander yet, but as soon as he does, he knows where to target his catapult as well, which is really the alarming thing. Gandalf not doing anything with his commander. What do you think about that?
He's probably a bit flustered at this point. I mean, his main attention is probably against these sniper bots, which are just decimating his little army here. And he's got a couple of vanguards and some levelers now, but against the sniper bots and the air force from Matiz, it's going to get eaten alive.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of shellers now, slowly just pushing in and just picking things off. I mean,
yeah, it's just delaying the inevitable at this point, because Matiz has the middle ground, and if Gandalf can't control that middle ground, then it's just going to be put on the defensive constantly, which he already is. So he's trying to conglomerate his stingers in the middle of his base to actually make some form of efficient anti-air force. But I mean, if you lose T2 air control, then you're really in a dodgy position, because the mobility of Kestrels and Peregrines is absolutely phenomenal. They could raid anywhere at any time. It's absolutely crazy. See the commander here getting targeted.
He knows where the commander is now.
Yeah. The sniper
Just
bots are moving in.
until now, I think.
Sniper bots are moving in. The catapult looks like it's been... no, it hasn't been retargeted on the commander.
This game is over. But Gandalf no longer has any combat units. He's only got stingers. He's got an odd sheller around.
Uber Cannon pots off.
He's actually forced to use his commander versus sniper bots here, and the commander's now on the run.
Yeah, he's coming up close to 50% health, and those sniper bots are just going to be able to stay at range now. So yeah, I think this game has definitely gone to Matiz.
Yeah, definitely. It's games like these where it's quite obviously over, but from Gandalf's perspective, he probably still thinks he's in this game somehow. I suppose it's everything to play for, so you might as well play until you've actually lost your commander. But
Yeah,
the sheer amount of Tech 2 capability from Matiz is outstanding, and
yeah, and he's pushing in with
in the
shellers
midfield
now.
on the west side.
I think once the shellers and T2 vehicles are revealed to Gandalf from Matiz, I think that's when he'll probably realise, there's not really a way I can pull this back. He's only got one T2 vehicle factory producing a couple of vanguards every few seconds, but now, I mean, you know, in excess of probably about 10 to 12 T2 vehicle factories surrounding Gandalf's base is just...
But Matiz has finally realised that all of the shellers were sacrificed to the sniper bots just a minute ago, and he's got these gunships straight on top of the commander.
Yeah, it's just a case of whittling it down now. The Peregrine's trying to grab the fire from the commander. There's the odd stinger just taking off a few kestrels there, but definitely this game is to Matiz.
For sure.
Waiting for the GGs to be called.
Still producing these Tech 2 labs behind... Tech 2 factories, sorry, not labs. Behind Gandalf's base. He's just going to get surrounded.
I mean, he's not even bothering producing any sort of nuclear armaments or anything in his base. I'm just looking at this one Mex expansion now towards the South Pole from Gandalf. So he does have that little bit of map control down there. But it's really not helping him out very much, is it? I mean, it's only producing, contributing a little bit to his metal. And his commander's on the other side of the planet, or rather, it's now on various thousands of pieces on this planet. Game on to Matiz.
Bugs in the game where the bits of bots fly into space.